and I think we are now live. Yes?
Man, you were saying we were about to go live, and I was like, welcome to the... Nope, I'm not.
No, that's my job now. Welcome to an Essian tale. This is a brand new 5th edition stream. I'm completely brain dead right now. First off, I think I'm going to let my players introduce themselves because they're the stars of the show here. So we'll go starting with the Legends of Lanamora cast in alphabetical order.
That'd be me.
That'd be you.
Hi, my name is Nathan. Do you want me to say who I'll be playing as well?
Yes.
Okay, my name
No
is...
character description yet. We'll get to that in game.
No character description. My name is Nathan. I will be playing Torak Feast Carver Bobby Akamthi.
Baby.
A.K.A. Baby. Yeah. That's... Hello. I DM the Legends of Lanamora podcast, and I play here.
And hi, I'm Nova, and I too am from the Legends of Lanamora podcast, and today, and for the foreseeable future months, I will be playing Tack.
Right, and now moving over to my fellow players on the City and Snow podcast, who now get to see me in the DM seat. Again, we'll go in alphabetical order. I don't know where I'm going to be pointing on this layout, so I'm just going to do that. And hopefully I'm getting it right.
Perfect. It looks good to me.
Wait, is that me? I'll just go. Okay. I'm Miranda. Hi. I am on the City and Snow podcast. I play Six, the sorcerer, but here I play Vito Scalari, the rogue, who is ambiguously Italian.
I can get it.
Hi, I'm Izzie. I play Yor on City and Snow, and today I'll be playing Fettle Wooleye, who's a Furbolg cleric.
Right, and I'm Layne. I play in City and Snow. I also am going to be GMing a upcoming podcast on this very studio set called Mountainsides, but that's details on the hush for that for now. So today, this campaign will be taking place in the world of Est, my own creation that I've been working on for quite a while. The players will be starting in the country of Atisha. There are 3 countries in this world. Est, can't even get my own countries right. Leudia, Kaislos, and Atisha. We will be starting in Atisha, and depending on the plot hooks that my lovely players take, and the chaos they decide to bring, we might end up in the other countries. I don't know. But my players have my permission to zone out for the first 3 minutes because I was deciding for quite a while how I was going to run this intro, because I get kind of disappointed with a lot of intros for other games. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to make a really cool intro just to show off. So if you are one of my players, you can zone out for the first 3 minutes if you want to.
No way.
There we go. Nathan's got the right idea.
Take a little nap.
In a small cottage on the edge of the Hollash Woods, not far from where the vast desert, the Sea of Keys, begins and seems to stretch as far as the eye can see, 2 small children play. One, a tiefling girl, the other, an Earth Genasi boy, darting from tree to tree, firing small, blunt wooden arrows at each other from toy crossbows. Neither of them look older than about 4 years old. As an arrow hits the girl's head, she makes a grimacing face before dramatically falling backwards onto the feet of a drow woman, looking down at her, arms folded, her short white hair framing her face as she stands. Here, your brother and you need to come in for your dinner. It's going to get cold. I've called you twice already. The tiefling girl stands up, grumbling a little, but is joined by her brother. You too, Pebble. You know how Mama Ilala makes her vegetable soup when she wants to treat you to. You don't want it to get cold, do you? At this, the 2 children sprint into the cottage, leaving the woman behind, who chuckles, leisurely following them in. As the children rush to the table, a harpy woman with long, dark blue hair and cerulean feathers places a steaming bowl of soup in front of 2 ready-set places. The children hop up and immediately begin tucking in, not before mumbling a "Thank you, Mama Ilala." The drow woman chuckles again, walking over to Ilala and giving her a quick kiss on the cheek and helping her set the table for her and her wife's places. The meal is short and noisy, broken up only by the occasional description of how "I'll get you next time" from the tiefling child before stuffing her face full of bread and soup. After dinner, Ilala and her wife have sat at a long sofa, Ilala's feathery wing draped across her wife's shoulder, her head resting lightly on her arm as she watches her children play inside. After a few minutes, they stop and turn to the drow woman. "Mama Livala, can you tell us that story again? The one with the heroes and the big gem?" Then Genasi boy Pebble speaks up, his eyes wide and full of hope. Livala chuckles, nodding and tapping her wife on the wing, who dutifully lifts it to allow her to stand up. As she does, she moves to a bookshelf, thumbing over them until she reaches a well-worn, green, leather-bound book. She removes it from its place before returning to the sofa and situating herself back under her wife's wing. As she opens it, she looks at her children again, with a mischievous smile on her face. "Well, little Miss Hiara and little Mr. Pebble, this is the story of 4 heroes, and how they forever changed the world." All of you. The dream started about a month ago, and they've been constant and almost forever changing, but staying the same in some core details that you've never been able to shake. The first night you found yourself in a rice field, looking over completely empty, as a dome of fog crept outside slowly and slowly and slowly, until the dream ended. They didn't keep going for a while, until the same dream happened again. This time, in the middle of the rice field, was a very large ruby. The fog keeps getting closer and closer and closer, until this time, as it reaches the ruby, the dream ends. These dreams keep happening. They keep reoccurring and keep changing. The place you are in may be completely different, but the one detail, the ruby and the fog, they always are consistent, and they will always be there. Depending on who you are as a person, it took you a while, or maybe no time at all, to act on these dreams. No one you'd ever talked to had them, and no one knew what to do, but you knew you had to act on them. And as we are starting to get into the characters, I would like to go around in, let's say, clockwise order and describe your character and how they decided to act on these dreams and go to this rice field they've heard of. We'll start in clockwise order. So let me just see what it is on the layout. Vito, how did you react to these dreams? How long did it take you to figure out that you wanted to and had to act on them? And also describe yourself, please.
So Vito is a rogue kobold. He is albino and covered in a number of scars, the most prominent of which is on his snout and cuts through his gums. So a very deep gash. He's basically looks like a vagrant, and he pretty much is. But it's partially just a way of lying low and not drawing attention to himself. So Vito has been having these dreams, and as he keeps a journal of his life and adventures, and usually his entries are very brief and terse, 1 or 2 lines. But with the dreams, he finds himself filling up pages and pages of just like trying to interpret them, understand what they mean. Red is a color to him that resonates with his past. A red dragon that he used to be associated with, who has been dead for decades. And so that is the interpretation he leans towards. First he resists, but then he decides that there's only one way to make it stop, and that is to confront the past. And so whatever comes of it, he starts asking around in the city, trying to get directions towards nearest rural area, rice fields and such. And he goes on his way with his little bindle over his shoulder.
Yep. Next round in the clockwise order. Torak, how did you interpret these dreams? How long did it take you to react to them and decide that you had to act on them? And please describe yourself.
Okay. Torak, or as he's been calling himself fairly recently, Baby, is a Goliath fighter. And he didn't take into the warfaring ways of other Goliath immediately. He was he fashioned himself as a chef for most of his adult life. He's getting up there in age for a Goliath. He's 58 years old. And he has just recently decided to take to the fighter's life, but isn't very good at it. So he started getting picked on by the veterans of his clan, and he wears the name Baby as armor now. But in these dreams, he started seeing them. He kind of was shaking them off for a while, and as the dreams started to change, but the fog and the ruby remained consistent, he thought to himself, well, maybe this is something that I should look into more. He's looking to prove himself as a fighter, but he needs more experience. And so he takes these dreams as a sign that it's time to leave his family, leave his clan, and go gain this experience that he was not able to, or wasn't looking for in his youth, but is now looking for to prove himself as a fighter. And so he's gonna see what this ruby and fog's about. He's looking far and wide for answers and for chances to gain this experience that he desires.
Excellent. And Fedel, same questions, if you please.
All right. So Fedel, she is already living out in the land. She's an outlander, and she's with her only family, who's her cousin. And she has these dreams, and she doesn't really care much for the items in them, but she's going to interpret them as like probably some kind of divine vision, maybe from Station, who was her god, who saved her when she was a kid, not like personally, but by becoming a cleric. And they're already out in the land. What they do is they tend to she'll like go and happen upon like settlements and help with their problems for a while, and then just go on back to her way. So they are trying to go out and find this rice field. It probably pretty quick on it, but yeah.
And last but not least, Tack.
So Tack is laying pretty low in the house of the old lady that had saved him from the streets. And after her death, her unfortunate death, they started having these dreams, and since they have a case of playful curiosity, they thought maybe this would be a sign that would lead them in the direction to the answers that they seek.
Yep. As the last person comes to this realization that they feel the need to seek out this dream, this place, this ruby, this fog, that night you all have one final dream. In this fog, this ruby, this rice field, there are 4 other people standing in there with you, of varying heights and sizes. One by one, you all step forward and place a palm on the ruby, which seems to grow in size as each of you places a hand on it. As the last person does, they step away, and each of you in turn step away from the ruby as it shrinks back to the size it was before and falls to the ground in the rice field. I had my notes up a second ago, and my Chrome just crashed, so give me a second.
Okay. I'm in it. I'm here.
Good.
Also, yes, Emily, I did say unfortunate death too forcefully, and yes, that is a little bit sus, is it not? Question mark?
Is Winneman roll Lex?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling me handsome. Oh, made my day.
So as you all head off to set off to find rice fields in Atisha, which is kind of a difficult proposition on its own. Atisha is mostly if I were to use real world comparisons, Atisha is a very southwestern environment. There isn't a lot of eastern sort of things. It is mostly the largest desert in the world, the Sea of Keys, takes up around 30% of Atisha, which is significant when it comes to the ecological landscape of it, which doesn't allow for a lot of humidity to allow rice to be grown. However, you do all know, being Atishan residents yourself, there is one high set of mountains in Atisha called the Talon Range. Tallan. If you're all wondering, because I saw the look on your face, Miranda.
I made a face. I'm
Yeah.
still just like, oh, I'm handsome. So I don't know what face I made. Wait, how did you say it was spelled?
Small village of Nobuo in the Talon Range is known for exporting rice and other non-perishable foodstuffs to the rest of Atisha as much as it can, despite being a very small, very agricultural village. Nevertheless, the 4 of you arrive, probably separately, probably staggered, maybe over the course of a week or so. But eventually, after some asking around, staying in local places for, again, probably that said week, you find this rice field. Who would arrive first is the question, I think. I'm going to ask you lot.
Well,
Vito. Vito has a +9 to initiative.
Is that how it works?
I feel like he's hasty.
I will say that.
Yep.
Sorry, I will say that Torak is not very smart, so he would probably arrive last.
Yeah, fair enough.
But also, I don't know where he lives where most of the Goliaths live.
Yeah.
Hasn't ventured away from home much.
So it sounds like Vito would be arriving first then. if he's a scrappy little boy.
Yes.
Vito, as you arrive to this rice field, it's not too big. It's probably about a football field size so roughly about acre or a half. And there's a small, almost barn-looking structure. That's the word. Almost barn-looking structure with a human woman just sitting outside, fairly leisurely. She's got sort of short, dark grey hair. Has a pipe in one hand, kind of just leaning back, staring at the sky. What are you doing?
Is it bright out?
It probably be. Depends on when you arrived and like how long it took you to find the rice field. I'd probably it would be also when you decide to check it out. It might be day if you went to check it out. You might go check out in the night, depending on your proclivities.
He'd probably be out in the night or early evening because as a kobold, and as an albino, the sun is not kind to him. He gets disadvantaged to perception and attack rolls, I think, in the sunlight. So he definitely is more active during the night and making his way along towards his destination during the night more so than the day. So it would be nighttime.
Yep.
I think early evening would be good, actually. And so he can just make out this, you said a human woman?
Human woman. Pipe? Yeah, the scene wouldn't have changed depending on time of day. I just wanted to like find out what time it would be for your character, basically.
Okay. Vito would probably not approach or talk to her.
Yep.
He would probably watch from afar. Can he tell if he's been noticed?
Let's make the first roll of the game. Let's make either stealth check or a perception check. Okay. Stealth if you want to sneak around, perception to check if you have been noticed or not.
Okay. I'll do a stealth check.
Yep.
Oh no, I got a nat 1. I'm just like chopping around.
Start. What's the total? Because it's a nat 1, but still, what's the total?
7. I'm just like chopping around in the rice fields, like wading through them. So not very stealthy. Not my usual terrain.
I sure hope they can't see me. Chomp, 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 chomp.
She rolled a 2. So you haven't been spotted.
Oh. Okay.
She still seems to be staring up at the night sky.
I sort of like okay, it's how high is the water? Like
to most other people it wouldn't be too high.
I'm less than a meter tall, so
yeah. So it's probably pretty high on you.
Okay. I'm gonna like lower my head a little bit, almost like a crocodile, and just sort of watch her for a while. Observe.
It doesn't take too long for you to like settle in, get as stealthily as you can, despite being, an albino kobold in the middle of the night, bright white in a rice field. But somehow you still manage to pull it off. And after about an hour or two, she gets up, just stretches, looks off into the distance, and goes back into the structure.
What you said was like a barn?
It's like a barn, sort of like, you'd probably guess it's like a barn / like just been converted into some sort of living space. So she can like live there and also tend the fields at the same time.
Are there any windows on the structure?
Roll me a perception check, and we'll see if you can see from your tiny little stealthy close to the floor.
13 plus 1.
So 14?
14.
Yeah, you can see there's a one on the bottom floor, and sort of like diagonally up to it from the right. There's one on the top floor. The top floor one is on.
Okay, so there's like a light shining through
Yes.
it, you mean? Okay. So I'm gonna approach the house and try to look through the bottom window.
Yep. So as you like were previously in your crocodile hunch position, you kind of go spit some like bubbles from your nose and just like get up, sneak up. You can, as you look in, it definitely like your suspicions were kind of confirmed. This is a barn that has been essentially converted into a holding area and a house. The bottom floor is where kind of the not very efficient conversion took place, shall we say. It looks mostly like they've taken the barn and previous stables that were a part of it and just gone, let's move the hay out and put tools in. Or let's knock this one stable wall down and put a bed and a room in it. Almost like they're kind of working like within their means rather than this is a full conversion that we can pay for easily.
So I'm not sure about kind of like climb speed or anything. It does say on my traits, second story work, climbing no longer costs you extra movement.
Yeah.
But does that mean I can climb?
Yeah, you'd be able to climb fairly easily. I'd just make you make an acrobatics check if you wanted to go more than like a small distance.
Okay, I'm gonna climb up to the second window and peer in.
Yeah, I'll say make an acrobatics check for that.
20,
yeah, easily enough. You kind of use your little claws and sort of find small foot, like almost foot/claw holes for the wood, and dig in your claws a little more if you don't find like specific ones. I'm taking this off your nat 1 on stealth. So there's little pock marks in the wall where you've kind of climbed up. As you look in, you see the same human woman sort of lazily pottering around a very simple living area. There's not much in there. There's like it's like a small table in a very rectangular room, a desk with some papers and some like very basic writing implements on one side, and a small bed that's not in the best condition on the other. She looks like she's wrapping up like small amounts of paperwork and heading to bed for the night.
Okay. Vito is going to wait until she goes to bed.
Yep. Doesn't take too long, probably about 10 more minutes as she potters around, looks at some papers, looks at some things on the wall, and then turns light off, heads to bed fairly quickly.
Okay, now Vito wants to sneak in and try to steal the papers.
Okay, yeah. What's your entry method?
Well, is the barn door ajar or anything, or
the barn door will be closed.
Is it locked?
You'd have to go down and check.
I'll test the window first. Can I just like sort of look at it?
Yeah, kind of looking around at the window. It looks like someone has taken the slats that were like part of the barn initially, just cut a square out of them and just stuck some glass in. Okay. It's not like an opening functioning window. Okay. The barn's probably drafty enough without the need for an opening window.
Okay, so I'm going to drop back down and check out the door.
Yeah. So moving down, the door is not locked. It's not something they need. Talking's difficult. It's not something you'd figure they'd need to do in this area particularly because they don't get too many visitors. Most of it's exports, and even then it's rice and like non-perishable foods. They're not sending out anything too big of value. So the door is not locked.
Okay. I'm gonna stealth inside.
Yeah, roll me a stealth check.
Okay, 6 plus 7 is gonna be 13. Oh wait, 6 plus 6. Sorry. And Just checking to see if there's anything else that I need to add. But yeah, 6 plus 6, so 12.
So the as you open the barn door, you're not a large creature, so it kind of takes a little while, and you just and pull, and there's a fairly loud sound as you open it, but you seem to be unnoticed for now. There's no sounds of movement from the top floor.
Okay.
So as you get inside, what are you looking for?
One, I'm looking to see if there are any rubies around. But if I don't see any rubies, I would just want to take a glance at those papers.
Yeah, looking like as you move around slowly in the bottom floor of this converted barn, it is very rustic, it's very simplistic. There's not a lot of valuable anything around, really. The only valuable things you'd find, maybe a gold piece or two, just on a desk, and a set of maybe fairly nice looking rice paddy tools. But aside from that, doesn't look like she's got a lot. As you move around more to the back of the barn and find a set of stairs that move up to this converted living area, you kind of head in, again trying to be as quiet as you can, and the light flicks on.
He flinches in the light.
Yeah.
And he's immediately gonna try to scurry out of the barn. Just checking to see if there's anything. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to run out of there.
Yeah, make me another perception, stealth check. Sorry.
19 plus
19?
6, so 25.
25. Yeah, that'll do it. As the door to this converted living area opens, you quickly just bolt out. As you bolt out, look back, go back up into the field, and stare up. You hear a little bit of moving around, but after about 5 minutes, the light goes off again.
Okay. Vito just sort of decides that was too close. And also, those papers are probably just ledgers for, how much rice has been sold. There's probably nothing important. And he begins to question, why he even came out here. But overall, he decides, he's going to turn in and see tomorrow what he wants to do.
As you start to leave this rice paddy, fog starts to roll in.
No!
But as you get to the edge of it and sort of look at it and notice that you are about to hit the edge of a fairly thin fog wall, nowhere near as thick as the dreams you've been in, it dissipates. And you can head back to the village as normal.
I do that.
As you head in that night, there's a interesting new person you've not seen here before. Fedel, would you like to describe yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so she's this big 7'6" for a bulk, and I think the most distinct thing about her is she's got these big, bright yellow eyes, and they seem very watchful, but in a kind of confident, calm way. So she's just observing everything around, but she seems kind of pleasant sort of demeanor. She's got one of her equipment is sort of modest, a little worn in. She's got a wool shawl over a lot of her armor. But yeah.
Vito looks similarly observant and alert, but in a more of a twitchy, kind of way, where he's, suspicious of everything. Where is it that we're encountering each other?
This would be there's one small inn/tavern in this area that's mostly frequented by locals who are like a mixture of orcs, half orcs, and humans.
Okay.
So, Vito, this is really weird for you seeing a furbolg here. And Fedel, this is really weird for you seeing a kobold here.
Vito sort of pulls up his hood a little bit and he is going to buy some food and head off to a table to eat by himself.
Fedel, what are you doing?
Do we have money in this game, by the way, or
you're starting equipment.
Okay. So how much would a little bit of food cost me?
I'd say it wouldn't cost too much. It'll probably be silver, maybe 2, depending on how much you wanted.
Okay.
But assuming you're a kobold, probably not much.
I want 2 chickens and a Coke. No. I'll just have not much, like you said.
Yeah, I'll say a silver then.
Okay. All right, I'll note that down.
So while that's happening, yes, Fedel, how are you reacting to this? And what are you doing this night as you presumably wait for the next day to arrive? And you see a kobold walk into this village of mostly humans and orcs.
I mean, she's also kind of sticking to herself, but in more of friendly manner. If there's also another table she can still loan at, it's just these 2 loners, but she's just taking up this whole big space too.
Can I attempt to stealth, stealing a glance at her while?
Are we contesting this?
Yes, you are.
Oh boy.
Vito, roll stealth. Fedel, roll perception.
16 total.
Ooh, also 16. Well,
so Fedel, right? you see as this kobold eats, he looks at you for a few seconds, not eyes you up, but kind of takes a good measure of you, and then goes back to his food, hoping you hadn't noticed.
It's bright in here. I can't really make that much out, but did what I could, saw what I could.
Oh, she's gonna take her chair and try to sit at the same table.
Vito just sort of freezes up a little bit because he was not expecting this. He's got a drumstick in his hand. He's just frozen, and he's
hello, little guy.
Can I help you?
Just both sort of different in here. Is it all right if I strike conversation?
He just sort of looks away and he says, if you realize this, then why would you want to congregate and draw attention to us more than already is?
As you he says this and you look around, there's not many people paying attention. It's fairly late in the night, and the people who are there are either engrossed in their own conversation or passed out from drinking.
She's like, it's all right. Don't worry about them.
If you say so. I am not accustomed to company, so you'll have to forgive my under-exercised manners. I'm Scolari. And you?
She doesn't usually have a name, but when she goes into a place, she figures one out. So she says, yes. Well, I think I'm going to go by Fettel, and last name Wooleye. How you do?
How do you do? And then he just sort of resumes eating, sort of awkwardly, occasionally stealing glances at Fettel. Like he said, he's not accustomed to having company, so...
She lives out in the wilds most of the times, but she's totally fine.
So the night passes on, and while the company is different and certainly a bit stranger than probably both of you are used to, perfectly pleasant, and I'm assuming the night goes on without much conversation between you two.
No, I don't think so. But
I'm just chilling.
it's still, nonetheless, I think Vito, he doesn't quite drop his guard, but he isn't hostile either. He seems a bit curious. Still, like, not completely, like, without suspicion of Fettel, but, like, people don't usually approach him. So, because he looks like a beggar. So, he kind of does enjoy the company, and it is interesting that this person, he is taking interest in this person who's taken interest in him.
Yep.
Oh.
So, after this all passes, you retire to your rooms for the night. The dreams don't happen again tonight for Vito and Fettel, but they still do for Tak and Torak.
Can I just say something real quick? I don't think I would have enough money to stay in one of the rooms, so I'd probably be camping out somewhere.
Yeah, fair enough. The next day rolls around, and I'll say at this point, I don't know where I'm pointing on the layout, so the others two, I'm just going to do that and hope I'm correct. And the other two of you will arrive at this small mountain town of Novi. It is not big by any means. There is possibly only about 19 to 20 buildings in this entire village. One is fairly bigger and 2-story, and that will be the fairly well-established and known tavern of the area, and the only real place for outsiders to stay. The rest of them seem to be either homesteads or small, one or two small businesses. The rest of any sort of mercantile areas are just stands. 2 or 3 of them, maybe 3 or 4, depending on how far or wide you look, in small incremental areas, never getting too close to avoid sort of clashing or taking each other's business, or to avoid or any sort of business rivalries or jealousies, because this is even as you step in, you can see this is a very close-knit community. So I'll say Tak probably arrives first, because as has been said, Torak is not the cleverest, and probably got lost a few times, maybe? Yeah, so Tak will probably arrive either mid-morning or early afternoon. And what were you doing as you enter this small village in search of this rice paddy?
I would say that I walk into the village in a black cloak with a walking stick that's been carved from just a typical ranch But it's got to be a big enough branch because I'm like 6 foot tall. So like, it's a big enough branch. I walk in and I want to say that the tavern has a cat. So I would like to run up and play with the cat, if possible.
Yeah, roll me animal handling.
Okay.
Hey!
Let's see.
This is the kind of immersive experience I look for in Dungeons and Dragons.
Animals.
Okay, that is a 7 plus 1.
7.
8.
So as you see this tortoiseshell cat, almost looks like it has a sort of koi pattern on it. Sort of like a red, gold, brown, sort of black mix over a white mottled coat. You kind of move up, start giving it some fuzz. Like, oh, it's such a lovely little cat. It just stares. It's not like ducking away or trying to act up. It's just.
Oh, good kitty. I'm a cat too. How are you? And I just tickle at it, and I like, do you like it here? Is this a good town? You like it here? Good kitty? And then I'll get hungry, and I'll go wander inside for some food, probably.
And then I'll get hungry and eat the cat, is what I thought you were going to say.
No.
Suddenly, elf.
As you head inside to this small inn/tavern, the only people in it at this point, unless Fedel or Vito would be in the like little common area, would be a fairly not too tall looking half-orc woman, but probably about 5'8". Her hair is sort of half unkempt on one side, and on the other half is immaculately braided into very, very long braids. Hair is kind of like a dark green, with her skin being sort of like a green approaching slate sort of color. As you kind of look her over, she's very, very muscly, either from like working out or working some sort of like fields for a while. And her clothes aren't too nice. Like most things in this area, it's not impoverished, but it's not particularly wealthy either. She kind of looks at you and goes, "Can I get you? You looking for a room to stay tonight? Yeah. Food?"
Because of my appearance, I like to keep my hood down so that people can't see my face.
Hey, join the club.
And I gesture to I pull out some coins from my pocket and I sort through them and I go, "What can I get with these?" And I like clink 2 little coins together. Like, I don't have much, but if there's like any sort of like grain or something that I can get.
Yeah, is that are you like doing copper? Is it silver? Is it gold? Or
I would say copper. I don't have a lot of money.
she like kind of looks you over and just, "You ain't gonna get much for 2 copper around here. We ain't that rich, but we do have to price our stuff a little better than that. I could probably..." She looks back into what you kind of maybe assume is like a sort of kitchen area, maybe? Bowl of porridge, boiled rice, something.
Okay, can I cast Prestidigitation and create some more coppers?
What a little mischief maker.
Without, create them in my other pocket and pull them out and say, what about with these added?
Make a sleight of hand check for me, please.
Sleight of hand.
Nova's always finding the ways to use sleight of hand in campaign.
This is to check if you can do it without her noticing that you've casting this magic.
That is a 12 total.
12? As you are kind of doing these, doing the hand motions, fairly subtly, and trying to create these other coins in your pocket, she looks at you and goes, "Not the magical ones, the real ones."
Oh, sorry. I don't come from much. I didn't mean any offense, and I give her 2 of the real coins.
She just takes it over and looks at them and just bites into them and goes, "All right, give me 2 minutes." And she disappears into the kitchen area. After 2 minutes or 2, comes out with kind of what looks like a mixture between porridge and rice pudding. Comes out, sort of shoves it across the tabletop, bar counter towards you. Ain't much, but we ain't charity.
I quickly snatch it up and I go, thank you so much. And me as Tack, not being prone to knowing what to do in the social situation, goes to sit down next to somebody in the tavern.
If Fedel or Vito are there, they would be the only ones there at this time of the day. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anyone in there around. They're mostly off working the farms or their fields.
Mm-hmm.
Vito's probably still sleeping a little bit.
Sleeping in. I don't know. How far is it to be on the outskirts to get stuff from the land and not be in somebody's stuff?
It wouldn't be too long. It would probably only be about a 4 to 5 minute walk from the center of the village to the very edge.
That's... If she had done that at dawn, would she be back by now?
Oh, easily, yeah.
Okay, then she's there.
Yep.
Is there outside food allowed?
Yep.
Oh,
as far as you know.
She's eating stuff she got.
Yeah, so you will sidle up next to a very large furball, and Fedel, there is a cloaked figure sitting down next to you.
Hi, well, hello.
I turn without showing my face and I go, "Good morning, how are you doing?" And I take some scoops from her porridge. I go, "Would you like some?"
Well, thanks. And she'll take a little and give them a portion of her stuff too.
Nice.
Which is probably more substantial.
Yeah.
Depending on it is.
Did you see that cat out there? That cat was so pretty.
Aw, is that right?
Tack has a childlike sense of wonder about them. So they go, "So what brings you here?" I'm here because I'm here looking for something. Are you looking for something? Or did you find it?
Oh, she is endeared. Well, yeah. Looking for a rice field. I'm a cleric. Sometimes I come to places. What are you looking for?
I hear rice field, and then my head swings back, and I look Fettel straight in the eyes, and go, "Me too."
Oh wow! Look at that.
You can see now that the reason why Tack was hiding their face was because they are very monstrous looking. Like, not like any other race or species that you'd encountered in the past, but more like a very pale, white, scrawny, just creature of the night looking thing.
Spooky.
Yeah.
And Tack has like almost glowingly blue eyes, which are very, very jarring. And Tack says, "Do you know anything about gems?"
Can't say I do. Let me see. Sorry, bud. Why do you ask?
Well, it's just because when I came here, because there's I'm looking for a rice field, and I think a gem, and the cat was a plus, but I wasn't here for the cat. Do you know where I can find the rice field around here?
Has she found the location yet?
If you had like a walk around the village, it's not big, so it'll be fairly easy to like find where it is. So I'd say yeah.
All right. Yeah, I do know where it is.
Excellent. Would you like to venture with me? Do you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
Adventurers.
Aw. Yeah, you're a sweet one. All right.
Excellent. I've never had a friend before. Well, one that can talk common anyway.
She was like a little put off by their like kind of ghastly look, but it's just forget it.
So yeah, assumedly you both kind of finish your food, stand up, and head to leave out towards the rye field. And Torak, that is where you will enter this village. You will know it is mostly humans, orcs, and half-orcs. So again, it's going to look very weird when you see a furbolg and presumably something else walking with them that you can't quite work out.
So I've bumped into them as they're coming out.
Yeah, but like you've kind of been like entering into the village, and you've just seen a furbolg and another person that isn't human or half-orc orc coming out of the tavern, which is incredibly strange initially.
Orak looks around and he points at the two of you coming out of the inn. Hello? Have you...
Hi.
Do you know where the rice field is?
Rice field? What a coincidence. We're on our way to a rice field.
Torak, make me a perception check, please.
It's not going to be good. Oh, it is. It was a critical nat 20.
Nice. These two,
-2.
they're... Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. These two, their heights look very similar to when you had the dream of the 5 people, all touching the ruby.
I've seen you before.
Can I just say, I feel like maybe Vito is asleep in a nearby alleyway and he just hears Torak's booming voice and he hears, a rice field? Where's the rice field? Or whatever. And of course, one of his feats is alert, so I feel like that works out nicely too.
Yep.
He just sort of like snaps awake. He's like, rice field. Did I have the dream last night by the way?
You didn't. You were here, and the people who were here in the village did not have that dream. The people who weren't did.
Okay. So I'm going to take a note of that. I think that's interesting, but also now I hear about a rice field and I'm listening in.
Yep.
Still have not revealed myself.
I've seen you before, but there was one more, smaller. Where is the rice field? Hello? Where is it?
I look up at them and I go, "Wow, you're big."
Torak is 7'10".
And I thought I was.
It's a party of tall people and one small.
I'm literally 2'1".
There's going to be a lot of throwing kobolds in this series.
No. What's a bell curve? You ever heard of her?
So, Fedel and Tak, you hear this very loud voice asking about a rice field, and looking around, you see a Goliath pointing at you.
I'm also looking for a ruby. It's about this big. He holds his hands up. Or this big.
At this point, Vito is going to come out of hiding. Still looks a little disheveled because he's just gotten up. He's like picks up his bindle sort of sloppily. He's like, "A ruby, you say?"
Yes, you're the right size. Come on, let's go. Where's the rice?
I was there just last night. Have you... You've come because of the dream?
Yes, I've had dreams. I got lost, but I am here now.
Strange.
Please, can you take me to the rice field?
I've never been in someone's dream before, and I pull my cloak down over my face, and I'm a little embarrassed.
How do you know that?
Well, he just said it. And
How do you know no one's ever dreamed of you before? You don't know that unless you're a dream walker.
My jaw drops and I go, I never thought of that.
People could be dreaming of you all the time. You never know when you're on someone's mind.
I grab
Sometimes
I grab it and I go, no.
I hear that if you sneeze, it means people are talking about you far away.
I thought it was allergies.
No, it's people talking about you far away.
Oh.
Come, let me lead us to the rice field. We've dallied long enough. Let us put an end to this and figure out what is up.
Good. Let's go.
I like to imagine that as Vito's walking, Vito kind of has like their own like kind of mannerism to walk, if I'm imagining that correctly. And I would like to try and like not maliciously imitate it as I'm walking behind them, but like in a very curious, like learning manner.
Vito looks over his shoulder and is a bit perplexed by this, but sees no harm in it, and so he keeps going, and he says, well, we're traveling together. We might as well be acquainted. You can call me Scolari.
Hi, I'm Tak.
You call me baby.
Baby?
Yes.
Hi, baby.
That's adorable.
Thank you. Thank you. He looks a little uncomfortable by being called adorable. He doesn't hear it often.
I think we're all uncomfortable. Vito's leading the way to the rice field. It's still a little bright out for him, but he can still sort of like make things out well enough, like colors and shapes and things. He uses the stick of his spindle a bit like a what's the word? Like a stick for helping him make sure he doesn't like lose his footing or, helps him see a little better.
Yeah. As you head up to this rice field, kind of spending the 4 or 5 minutes in each other's strange newfound company, you start to approach it, and as you step up, you see a person kind of standing looking over it. They are in a sort of, not soldier's armor, but it's definitely like a civilian armor set. She has a spear at her side, long, almost seafoam green hair, and is looking over the rice field as you all probably making a decent bit of noise with your various heavy footfalls, considering that 3 of you are huge.
It's also the rice paddy, so it's like very marshy.
As you come up to the edge, this woman turns around to you and, considering the look of all of you, you're here about the dreams as well, right?
Isn't that obvious?
Hello, you were not in my dream.
Can you hear me, by the way? I don't know if I'm whispering too quietly.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, good.
I look at...
She looks you over. You were the right height to be in mine. There were 5 people in there.
Oh, there were 5?
Yeah.
He didn't count well.
She looks around at all of you, and an odd bunch for sure, but she takes in the sizes, and you see her head go. She looks over Vito. Claire. My name's Claire. Claire Good.
That's good. I'm Tack.
Pleased to meet you.
Call me baby.
Call me V. Scolari. Call me Scolari.
And we're calling me Fettle Walleye. How do you do?
Anyone who wants to make a history check. If not, it's just kind of seeing if you recognize her, recognize the name, etc., etc.
History. Ooh, that is a 19.
Yep.
Oh, history.
Yeah.
17 minus 1 is 16.
How do I roll in beyond? You know what? I'm not gonna do all that technical stuff. I'll just roll here.
Yeah.
I got 18.
18? Did you make a roll? Torak?
No, not yet. Torak's a little confused. In his dream, the ruby, it was floating in midair, right?
Yes.
Over the rice field.
Yes.
I would like to make a perception check to see if there's a ruby floating in the rice field.
Make a perception check.
That's going to be a 9.
So I'll resolve the first one first. The 3 of you, you've been traveling around a little, and you've heard of Tack in less detail than others, because you might not have paid too much attention to the stories. But you will have heard of a Miss Claire Good. She is a roaming undead hunter. As for the perception check to find a floating gem, You look over the rice fields, and there is no floating ruby that you can see.
Excellent. The Torak would probably be going over there, like wading into the rice field and just into the middle.
Yeah.
It was over here somewhere. He mumbles to himself.
I saw it over there as well. She looks at her armored boots and looks at the rice fields before just going and wading into it herself.
I'm not wearing any shoes, so I just go right in.
Would it be too much to ask for a piggyback?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here.
Take your pick.
Torax swoops down and picks Vito up in one arm.
No.
Onward.
As the last person steps over into the rice field, the fog appears.
No, this is like it.
Encompassing you all in a fairly large sphere. You cannot see outside of it. And as you do, as you look around with the sudden appearance of this fog, it's thick and it is dark.
Vito pinches himself.
You take 1 piercing damage.
Oh no!
You have kobold claws.
He's like, this isn't a dream.
You do not wake up from a dream, considering you are not in one, but you still do take that piercing damage.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Taking note.
As you step in, look around, and almost by coincidence, all of you as you look around, take in your surroundings, take in what looks like it's changed, but it hasn't. Take in this familiar landscape that was your dream previously, but is now here in real life. As all of you look around, take all this in, almost by coincidence, as you look around, your eyes all leave the center of this rice field for just a second. And as the first person looks back to see it, there is a small ruby, about this big, floating in the center.
Ah, there it is. Torak's gonna grab it.
Yeah.
That's what he's here for.
As you kind of grab it, it grows a little, but doesn't move from where it's standing, where it's floating.
I might need some help. Scolari, can you help?
Oh, we know this isn't a trap.
Oh, well, it was in all of our dreams. Surely it's brought us all together. This is what we're here for, right?
I don't trust dreams.
Then why are you here?
Do you trust destiny?
He's just gonna like close his eyes and reach out. Like his hand just snaps out. He doesn't want to think about it anymore. He's just gonna go for it.
As you see Vito place his hand on the gem, it also grows again a little, but won't move from where it's.
More.
Claire also steps up and looks at it for a second before going, for removing an armored gauntlet and also doing the same thing.
Come on, you two as well.
It kind of tickles.
I do. As soon as I walk up, I just walk around it and put my hand right on it, just not even thinking about it.
Yeah, Fiddle takes off her glove. She's like, anything bad comes from this, we'll take care of it. Touch.
So how can I put this? This is because all of you are going to see different things. This is going to be interesting. Okay, we're going in clockwise direction again because that's what I feel like doing, and I'm the GM, so what I say goes.
You're the boss.
Yep. Vito, as you realize the last person has put their hand on the gem, nothing feels like it's changed. Aside from the feeling of this gem getting bigger underneath your hand. After a while, it's like you don't feel like you've changed. You don't feel like you've moved until you open your eyes. Standing in front of you, as you have your hand on the gem, is the outline of what looks like two people, almost like entwined at the hip, staring you over. A thin sort of what looks maybe like a marine layer is forming around their feet, like maybe a smog or like a very thin fog is forming around. And as you look up, you see them. You are not in the rice field anymore, but you know you didn't move. You look around and you are maybe at the bottom of the ocean.
I'm not being held by baby anymore. Like, I can't feel...
You can't feel him anymore.
Baby. Where'd you go?
These two figures just stare at you for a while. As the weird thing is, as you are underneath, it looks like you're on the bottom of the ocean. You look around, you can see, but you're not struggling to breathe. You're not drowning. It feels like you can breathe this water. The two figures take a step closer.
He touches his neck.
Yep.
And...
You can still feel a little bit of the blood from where you pinched yourself.
He tries to speak. He's like, I can breathe. Maybe I can speak. He says, "Who goes there?"
As you do, you can feel yourself speak. But as you also do, you can see like the bubbles coming out of your mouth, but you don't feel the water around you. This is really strange for you. As you do, the two figures step forward, and who we are is not important. Who you are is what is.
Vito sort of shakes his head and says, "No. I'm nobody." There's just like bubbles like foaming out of his mouth as he's like a little freaking out a bit and trying to scramble backwards away.
As you kind of scramble back on the ocean floor, you see the sand like kick up around you before settling back in. They just keep taking steps forward. We mean you no harm. She is salt, I am marble. You are not no one, you are someone. And I will be watching over you, in the coming days.
He's just sort of speechless.
The gem. It is the heart of something greater, something lesser. Something smaller, something bigger. The five of you brought together for something, for nothing, for something. We cannot wait to see, I cannot wait to see how you use it, where you go, who you change, how you change. He will be waiting. And you're back in the rice field. I have to keep checking the layout to see who's next in. Give me a second. Torak.
That's me.
You as the gem grows to the full size that you'd seen in your dream. You blink for a second, and Vito is no longer on your back. You are still hand out, holding this gem, but you are what feels like floating. And as you look around, you're not in the rice field anymore either. You're in the middle of the sky, but you're not falling.
Hello? Hello?
As you call out, there is no echo to speak of. You don't hear you don't hear a voice coming back at you. You don't hear almost anything aside from the wind and the clouds around you. After a few minutes, you do see a figure in the distance, sort of again moving towards you in very much the same way that the same vision that Vito had. I'm just trying to use this to cut down more words because this is going to happen to all of you. To different people.
Hello, you there. Come over here.
You see a female figure stepping forward in what looks like very plain long robes. Long, dark black hair that almost looks like it's unreflecting when it comes to the light. It is pure and pitch black. If you separate the strands, it almost looks like you are looking into the void of space. There is no light or color coming from her hair in the slightest. She steps forward to you, almost stepping what it looks like on the sky. Which again is incredibly weird as you are floating, you are not standing. But she is walking towards you, standing on what looks like thin air.
Oh. Where are we? What is this?
She takes a few more steps towards you before she's about 2 to 3 feet away from you. And just...
Oh, I'm being too loud. Sorry. Where are we? What is this?
She looks around and... This is a place you have not been before.
No, I haven't. I know that. What is this place?
Roll me a religion check, please.
That's going to be a 10.
10. I'm going to roll something a second. Even with your 10, you come from Atisha. You know of this place. You after traveling around and leaving your tribe, you still know a decent amount. You would know this is the goddess, the daughter. The goddess of hope and silence. She, as you speak again, even in a normal voice, you were chosen for a reason. Among the others. She looks down. Doesn't seem to be land beneath you. I hope I made the right choice.
What?
I will be watched.
What?
I will be watching you in days to come. Do me proud. And you're back in the rice field.
So, No.
At all.
Yeah.
Much the same thing happens to you. You reach out, and as the gem grows to its full size, nothing changes. You look around, and as you blink for a second again, you are no longer in the rice field. You're in a different type of field. It's smaller. Almost like a corn farm, you'd say, maybe? You don't really have a knowledge of where this would be. Atisha isn't a particularly... It doesn't really do much with this sort of crop. And as you look around, confused, probably a little disorientated from this sudden locomotion, shall we say, you too see a figure in the distance. A woman in a dark black toga with a blindfold over her eyes, long, almost golden locks reaching down to her, roughly about her ankles, a sword through her left palm, coming out from this way, out, and one through her right knee. You would recognize this from your backstory as the Collector.
Oh. Bethel doesn't know how to be deferential. She's just going to be, hey. Hi.
Hello there. I did not think it would behoove us to meet this way. I thought it would be your cousin that I met first. But he didn't come here first, did he? You did?
Well, I worship you and Station, so what can I do?
As you know, or may not, or do. Things are changing in this world, and soon a lot of things are to end, but many more are to begin. This is one of those that does not concern me, but does concern my brother. Which is why I think you were chosen rather than he. She kind of steps over to you and takes your hands in hers. Which is a very strange sensation when there is a sword sticking out of it. You are one of the 5 that was chosen to change this world. How do you feel about that?
Seem like a nice lot. I'm happy to work with them then.
Yes, the others' choices were a little strange, I will admit, and I do not know why they chose. She looks over your shoulder. I do not know why they chose the meeting place they did, but it is to be an interesting journey.
I'll do you both proud.
I know you will. She steps back, and you're back in the rice field.
Someone's feeling great.
Heck. Much the same thing happens to you. As you feel the gem grow to full size, look around. Nothing much changes, but the instant you blink, you're in another space and time. But for you, there is no backdrop. There is no worldly familiarity. The only thing that you can see and that you can feel is there is something solid beneath you. And as you look down, it almost looks like you are on the surface of a very thin layer of water in complete blackness. As you look around, there is nothing but blackness and maybe a star or two. To your sides, to your front, to your back, there is almost nothing. You are there alone for a long time, it feels. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes before you too see a figure in the distance stepping towards you, hearing a of what sounds like high heels, maybe, on stone, but clearly walking towards you.
I don't see anyone.
Make a perception check for me.
All right.
And also roll me a d4, please.
That is a 4 perception.
Yep.
And how do I pick which dice? Oh, there we go. D4 is a 4.
4. It takes a while for you to pinpoint the location of these sounds, this person stepping towards you. But as you do, you notice the light coming from them. And whatever emotions you may have had before being in this dark, lightless place are kind of almost immediately pushed away as you feel a sense of acceptance, compassion, and just love coming from this person that is now stepping towards you. She is not probably about I'm trying to think of how high she would be relative to Tak. She'd be about 5'11", coming towards you from out of the darkness, and the first thing you would notice is just, again, the almost aura or halo of light that is surrounding her. She steps towards you and is wearing almost like a toga, but less form-fitting, less flattering. It is very modest and almost looks like it's there because she had to wear something. Her long, very gold hair comes down to about her waist and is almost looks like she is floating in a large body of water. The strands are just coming up, floating freely as they will, almost accenting this halo of light around her. As she steps forward, her eyes glowing a very radiant, almost comforting gold. I'm sorry you had to find us in this place. Roll me a religion check, please. At disadvantage.
At disadvantage?
Yes.
Oof. Okay. That's a 6 and a 13. So
13?
6.
Oh. You don't recognize this person. As she steps up to you, you can see her outline in more of a kind of like more detail rather than just being completely overloaded by the halo. She's sort of on the chubbier side a bit more, and there's like a lot of almost laugh lines and wrinkles on her face. She steps towards you and says, I see by the look on your face you don't recognize me. I don't blame you. The circumstances of your creation, your birth, were out of my reach. And I seek to remedy that. If you have the chance, you have a greater destiny here in this world than what you think you do. And if you would allow me to remedy that, I would like to.
Yes, absolutely. My destiny awaits at your command. Who are you?
She just grins really big and a very comforting smile. She goes, "Oh, well, I had many names a long time ago, but they call me S now. The goddess of love and light, so they say." And she holds out like a hand to you.
Oh, I was just gonna say I hold out my hand, like ready to handshake, like I clutch her hand and I go, thank you.
Of course, you have been chosen along with the others that came with you to that humble little rice field to change the world. We don't know how you're going to do it, but we've all chosen different people, and I hope you're going to do it well. I believe in you. And you're back in the rice field.
Nice.
Baby's gonna immediately check for Vito.
Yep. He is still on your back.
Oh, good. I thought I lost you. Oh.
Scooped in your arm, right? Or was
Yeah.
it on your back? Okay. I'm like just checking to make sure you're there too.
Yep.
Oh. Well, I don't know where I went. Where did what happens? What?
Did you? Were you underwater?
No, I was very high up, I think.
High up.
Probably in the air. Wait, you were in water? Where were the rest of you?
I was in nowhere and everywhere. And my eyes like, nowhere and everywhere.
They said contradictory things to me, just like that. Big and small, nothing and everything. No one, someone. I don't remember.
Something about destiny.
It doesn't make sense.
The lady told me to be quiet, and so I was.
Yeah, the collector said that different deities chose all you lot too. I wonder who you all met.
They said salt and marble. Strange names.
I'm fairly certain I met their daughter.
Hey.
At this, as you say all these names, Claire just... That was fucking weird. You're all saying you met these gods?
Yeah,
well,
who'd you meet?
I saw my own death.
We
Awkward.
must protect you. How did it happen? Tell me everything.
She stops and... Wait. In the below, and... I just faded away. For world-building information, for people who don't know, in my world there is no the Nine Hells. It is all consolidated, so to speak, into one place called the Below.
Excellent. Torak's gonna kneel down, still holding Vito. and put a hand on Claire's shoulder. Because he didn't do a perception to try and figure out who she is.
Yep.
Hey, lady, it's okay. You stick with us. I'm the best protector I know. And we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
I think we're all going to die.
What? No.
What? No. I second that. What they
Did
said?
you not hear what I just said? I will protect us all. I need some practice.
You
But I will.
You can't trust the gods.
Well, there's nothing we can do, right? Except what we'll do.
Hey, you can trust us.
I know we may have only known each other for an hour, but we're in this together now. You were in my dream.
As
You all
Claire
were.
says this, she looks at the gem that she has now has in her hand and looks up at Vito and looks back to it. You should have this. I don't know why. I feel like you should have this.
Vito reluctantly puts out his hand.
Yep. As you take it, no, this does feel right. This feels like you should have it. There's nothing in you that it just feels right. As you take it, it almost feels like, yes, this definitely belongs with you. You can't say why. You cannot understand why. But everything in your head goes, no, this belongs with me.
That scares me.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm pretty hungry. Why don't I make us some food? And he gets a big old smile on his face.
Yeah,
I'm very good.
Oh, food.
Good at what?
Oh, I'm very good at cooking. It's my... I was
Right,
thinking.
yeah. Cooking.
Food.
Yeah, cooking, that's...
I haven't gotten my hands on some Talon Range rice in a very long time, you see, and it's always been shipped to me, and here we are, right here. This is the field, right?
I don't think you could just take that.
Well, who's going to stop us?
I think you should speak to the farmer.
Oh, right.
I don't understand social cues, so I'm just taking some rice because Baby said that he needed rice.
No!
Okay, well, let's go
Stop
find...
it!
Where's the farmer?
What? What am I doing?
In that hut over there? Right there? That one?
Yes, that repurposed barn, I do believe.
Hello? Hello?
Vito
There's
just
no-
sort of was like,
Right in Vito's ear.
Yeah. The barn door opens, and you see the same human woman that Vito did yesterday, kind of looking out at these 5 people now standing in the middle of her field. Can I help you? What?
I'd like to buy some rice.
Okay. Come over here. Stop standing in my fucking field.
Sorry. Torak waves out and heads over that way.
Same.
Onward.
I put the
Onward, 10
rice I've
feet.
gathered down. I put it down first before exiting the field.
Yeah. As you come up to this woman, she looks over this incredibly odd gathering of people who have now just been standing in her field for she doesn't know how long and now wants to buy the rice that she usually just ships off. And all right, don't usually sell smaller amounts, but how much was it you wanted?
Oh, I mean, I'll take a sack. I mean, that's usually what I would get in the village. I'm a big fan of your work. This rice is really some of the greatest stuff I've ever had. So yeah. A bag?
Like, she kind of like reaches up and pats you on the chest because she's not tall enough to reach your shoulder. And goes, flattery won't get you nowhere, but good start.
No, I will pay full price for it. You do great work.
Fine. You know what? 2 silver bag. That's how much I usually sell it to wholesalers, but I could charge you up. But you seem pretty decent, so I ain't gonna.
And how many pounds in a bag?
She looks over just at a sack and just goes, fill the sack.
Oh, I'll take 2. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very strong. I'm sure I can carry it.
I can see that. And she pats you on the chest again.
So that'll be 4 silver then?
Let me go get the sacks. She takes the silver and looks it over, kind of plays with the coins between her fingers a bit before tucking them into a pouch on the side of her belt. Goes into the bar and it comes out 1 sack under one arm, 1 sack under the other.
Is it still daytime out?
It probably would be about 4 or 5 o'clock at this point.
Okay.
Kind of proffers you the sacks, saying giving you the very look of take them, they're heavy. And I'm
Vito's
carrying
just
them.
gonna crawl up and over and sling on your back if that's okay.
Oh yes. Oh, sorry. It's
like a little monkey.
Perfect. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch her name.
Chlora.
Laura.
Kllorra.
I'm not going to write it down. That's okay. But my hands are full. It's a pleasure to meet you, Chlora.
Aye, you too, apparently, even though you're standing in my fucking field a few minutes ago. Don't know why. Actually, yeah, you want to explain yourselves why you are standing in my field? You seem all nice enough, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, there was a ruby in your field, and we all saw the gods.
It was destiny. I say really creepily.
You saw the gods in my rice fields?
Yep.
Vito's just gonna drop off of baby's back, just slide down and be like, fuck!
Whoa, 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 did I drop you? I'm sorry. You gotta hold on. I know there's not a lot.
Alright, well, I hope you make some good food with that rice. I'm gonna... And she, looks back at the bar and starts to back in and comes out with tools and just starts, rushes off and just starts to work fields, kind of not wanting to talk to you anymore.
Baby.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a little thing called discretion?
No. So
Okay.
we want rice then?
Sure.
You now have 2 full sacks of rice. Okay.
2 bags of Talon range rice.
Quickly Googles how heavy are sacks of rice. Very, apparently. But you're
I can carry it 350 pounds. And not
I'm going to say these are... Quickly does conversions from European into American. For weights.
Give me the American weights.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Don't give it to me in kilos. I don't understand that.
I really need to remember that I am running for Americans now and not... So these bags would be £22 each.
Excellent.
They are heavy, and there's a lot of rice in them.
No.
I'm used to doing the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like converting for metric system and Celsius and stuff.
Oops. All right, I'm going to put that in here now. And if I start making some rice, I've got a cook pot. I've got a lid that I use as my shield. I've got a spoon.
That's adorable.
I pat the bag of rice, and I go, "Oh, this is gonna be delicious. I don't usually get to eat."
Well, that's not going to be a problem anymore.
Claire doing okay?
Kind of looks you over and just says, You really said you met the... That's the wrong voice. I'm trying to juggle 6 or 7 at the moment. You really said you met the gods. What did they talk to you about? Sorry, I'm trying to distract myself from the thought of my own death.
Oh. Well, yeah, like I said, the daughter told me to be quiet.
And Est told me I had a destiny.
Yeah, the collector told me that we were all selected personally, and 5, and don't know what's up with your vision, but we'll be alright.
Yeah, like I said, I'm here to protect everyone now. I have to practice, but we'll get there.
I'm good at it too.
If you ask me, which no one asks me, but besides
What did
voice,
you see then? I'll ask you.
It doesn't matter. It's all a crock of lies. I think that you just were shown the truth without all the lies.
That makes me feel so much better, thank you.
Hey, we're all doomed. If you ask me.
Well, that's one way to look at it, but not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I don't plan on dying yet. Let's go make some food. Oh, this is going to be a rough night. So, where are you headed, everyone?
Well, does anyone have any experience with the gods? I do not.
Nope. That would be the cleric, and what you got, Tack?
I have some religion. So you would.
Oh, I don't have religion.
I mean, I have religion as a skill. A little bit, not much. But I'm proficient in it.
You probably know more than Fettel. She has an experience.
Vito has an experience that has made him very distrustful, as you can guess.
So, for those of you that have experience with the gods, where should we go? I'm sorry, I didn't ask your name. And Baby points at Claire.
Claire Good.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, good to meet you too.
I think we should go to the library. Wherever the nearest library is.
What's a library?
It's a public service where you see, as a society, it is a public good for us to have an educated populace, and so we have really accessible information. You don't have to buy the books. It's different from a bookstore. It's beautiful.
They've got a lot of books there?
Yeah.
I don't know how to read. Can we find a book with pictures?
Yes. And
yeah, a library would be good to, work out what the hell is going on, but somewhere for tonight first, at least, I guess. Kind of want to stop and take a second before going off on a weird adventure.
Good. Let me go ask around. You stay here. Watch the rice. Make sure it doesn't overboil. Torak's going to try and use his rustic ass hospitality to find a place to stay.
Yeah. As you're kind of going off, Claire just goes, she just puts 10 gold into your hand and goes, pay for whatever. It's on me.
Thank you.
So just remind me what rustic hospitality is, please, because I have never used it in any of my games before and no one's ever chosen it.
Since you come from the ranks of the common folk, you fit in among them with ease. You can find a place to hide, rest, or recuperate among other commoners unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them. They will shield you from the law or anyone else searching for you, though they will not risk their lives for you.
Cool. So it doesn't take too long for you to just start asking around and kind of building up a rapport with the people of Nobo. After maybe hour or two of just asking around, getting friendly, getting to know people, eventually a kind of older woman approaches you. She looks like full orc, maybe in about her 60s or 70s. And goes, you know what? I like you. Looking for somewhere to stay for tonight? You don't have to pay them jumped up bullshit prices in the inn, right?
Well, it's just the amount of people we have. It's hard to find good lodging for that many.
Right. Well, my house can always come by. Ain't the biggest, but you don't gotta pay bullshit amounts. Because, I think you'd fit in here, but can see you're probably leaving, so Mama's gonna do what I can for you, yeah?
Well, thank you, Mama. It really is helpful, thank you. We've been traveling for some time, but here, this is for you. And I give her 2 gold pieces.
Oh, much appreciated, much appreciated. Well, gather up your little troop. Well, I'll prepare a few rooms for you. Might be a few on the floor, might be one on a bench or a sofa, but I'll see what I can do. You ain't going to be sleeping outside tonight or paying them bullshit prices.
Well, I'll tell you, I've slept in worse places, so definitely appreciate it. I'll go get everyone, and we'll be back soon. And then I go off and buy rations.
Yep.
Too.
I'll mention that Vito has a similar trait from his background that's Heart of Darkness. Yeah. That is pretty much the same as rustic hospitality, except the flavor is different. It's just people look at me and can tell I've gone through some shit, and they help me.
Yeah. Yeah, I will keep that in mind for you. Okay. So it doesn't take too long to gather everyone up and come to... It's not the biggest house in the village, but it's fairly sized, and you'd probably guess this is for almost like an elder of some kind. You're greeted by Mama, the very tall orc woman that found Torak and sort of opens up her house to you.
Very important question.
Yep.
Does Mama have a cat?
Let's roll to find out. She does not.
Oh.
Does she have any pets?
Hang on, I need some of that sweet dice foley. She has, as you kind of step in, take a look around. It's not too much nicer on the inside than it is on the outside. It's very sparsely decorated. Unlike the tavern/inn is a little more extravagant because they want to give off the impression of this is your place to come and stay if you are ever here. Mama's house is a lot more rustic and more homely, considering she probably doesn't get too many like visitors. As you kind of step in, though, you do hear as a very large Great Dane comes to meet all of you at the door. It's kind of like dark black with like brown spots or so, and clearly quite dopey as it just saunters up to you.
Vito's gonna just like scurry up like onto Fettel's back.
He looks friendly.
He's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Tack. Let's see, do I have... No, I do not have that. Tack jumps at the sight of the Great Dane and casts Levitate on themselves and kind of like clings to the roof of the main area. Just to try and avoid the dog at all costs.
This dog kind of sees you float up and just sits.
You
and just
Tack
watches you.
Tack and Vito just like simultaneously ascend away from the dog.
Come on, you two. Belle goes to like, hey, you want pets, bud? Hey, yeah.
From the safety of your shoulder, Vito gives it a pat.
There you go.
Is it nice?
Yeah. Yeah.
I reach my hand down very tentatively to pat it.
Kind of licks your finger.
Okay. I'm fine.
Mama comes up to this incredibly interesting scene, looks up at you on the roof. Gaz isn't that much of a scary... how did you get up there?
Nice doggy. Good doggy.
Yeah, come on, Gaz. You're scaring that one. And the dog just like gets up, still looks up at you, but goes off in front of the fire and like lies down.
I slowly levitate back down.
Sorry about him. Not usually that rambunctious, but I've not seen someone do that in response to him before.
I normally hang around with cats. I'm not used to dogs.
Aye, well, Gaz ain't gonna hurt you. He's a big softy. If he bit you, he'd probably cry.
I don't think dogs can cry.
You keep telling yourself that.
IRL, try telling that to my dog.
Oh, God.
Well, not with tears.
Oh no, don't tears.
I guess they feel things. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she sits down like in front of, not in front of the fire, like directly on the floor in front of the fireplace, but to like a chair to the sort of side of it, and motions to like 5 chairs she's set out in front of the fire for everyone.
I mean, I'm not sure they even have tear ducts.
Torak comes back with supplies.
Yep.
He's got 10 days of rations, 5 water skins, 5 soaps, 10 candles, 10 torches, and a tinderbox. And he hands a small pouch back to Claire and says, here's the remainder of your the 10 gold you gave me. It should be 1 gold and 2 silver.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. Thank you.
I know I didn't.
Takes it back and
he portions out everything and gives everyone. He splits it evenly around everyone, except for the tinderbox, which he says, so I already have one of these, but just in case we should have another, it's always good to be prepared. Especially when you get lost. Believe me, I know. So who wants it?
Who wants what?
The tinderbox.
tinderbox.
I don't think I need one.
I'm gonna check my equipment to see what I have already.
I have produce flame, so I don't need a tinderbox.
What do I have in my bindle? I already have a tinderbox in my bindle. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Fedel, would you like this?
She's alright. I don't need it. Claire, do you want?
No, if you're offering, because I technically bought it.
Yeah, you should carry it. It's good. Keep them separate in case one gets wet and one doesn't.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Speaking of which, Vito just remembers that he was trudging through the rice fields. And he quickly goes through his bindle and checks everything to see if anything got damaged by the water.
I mean, Vito's not inept. He probably kept it above the water as he was going, so I'm going to say no. If you had less intelligence or wisdom, I'd say you'd have had to have rolled for it, but you're pretty decent, so I'll say no, you're fine.
Okay. Just because he jumped from baby's back.
Yeah, but you're also a competent rogue, so I'm not gonna...
Fair enough. Awesome. Everything is dry.
Yep.
Just according to plan.
Question. Resistance versus immunity. Resistance is less damage.
Half damage.
Okay, never mind then.
So as Claire will go and sit by the fire while all this is happening, and sort of very slowly start taking off her armor to get comfortable. Could I get everyone roll me? What's everyone's passive insight?
High.
Yeah, I've got Torax up in front of me, and
It's a sweet 8.
Yeah.
13.
What's everyone else's passive insight?
How do you find passive in?
Should just be
15. 15. Sorry.
Yep.
16.
16. And roll some dice again and get more sweet dice foley. Fedel would be the only one that notices this. When Claire is taking off her armor, it's a slow process because it's pretty decent plate. She leaves her every time she moves and takes stuff off. She's very careful about her left arm on the armor and looking over at her hand. One of the the plated glove on the other hand is a mixture of leather and cloth stuck that has plate on it. The other is just full plate. As she takes off the armor and gets comfortable, she leaves the left arm fully plated up.
So that's just Fedel?
The Fedel would, everyone else would notice the, her leaving her left arm plated, but only Fedel would notice, her taking very cautious, extra careful with her left arm.
She doesn't say anything, but she'll sit by the fire too, and she puts her feet out, and one of them's prosthetic from half down her right leg.
So as people start to sit down, Mom just goes, "So right, tell me why you're all here. Why you're all in my house, and let's share some stories.
Maybe
Oh, yes?
we haven't
Oh,
had that talk
right.
about discretion.
Discretion.
Is that a type of food?
Not that I've heard about.
Well, we're just wandering through. We got lost. Not much to say about that.
Well,
I'm sure you've got better stories to tell than any of us.
Oh, getting lost's a good story on its own, though, isn't it? She claps her huge hands together. Well, if you're just wandering through here, where you going? Tell me where you're heading to next.
We're looking
Babies.
for a library.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Baby wasn't sure if he should say something or not, but he looked like he wanted to say something really bad.
Oh.
Books. We need books.
Oh, I ain't never been much of a reading type myself, but the few of them around. Go to the capital, get the academy's libraries. But that's going to be a while across the country. You've got, well, there's a what? There's a few. Where you looking? You're looking small. You're looking big. What you're looking for when you're there?
We're looking for ones with pictures. Well, I am.
Good choices, good choices. Like I said, I ain't much of the reading type myself, so I understand you.
You have a map that I could copy into my journal.
She thinks for a while. Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Advantage, because she's like, yeah, you're in my house. I can trust you, probably.
18, 19.
19? So she gets up and thinks for a second, looks around before, like, disappearing off into a back room. And 2 minutes later, coming back out with, like, a
Sorry
fairly...
about that.
Wow.
Okay. I kicked over my water bottle. Sorry.
She comes out with a, like, fairly worn, like, definitely kind of ratty looking map. So, about 10 years old. Take a look if you want, though. And she hands it over to you.
Thank you. And he smooths it out on the floor, and he starts, first he sort of draws a grid on the paper using his knife as kind of a ruler, and then he starts trying to sort of mark up in his journal a map as accurately as he can.
Yeah. I'm not going to make you roll for that. You've got the time, so it should be like fairly easy to do.
Cool.
I'll say no. I'll say you're fine. I will get a map to you for the next session because I haven't made one yet. I've got it's all up here. I just haven't actually put it onto a map yet because I'm a responsible game master who runs 5 different games. From where you are, though, you would know that the closest village, or like the closest village, wouldn't have one. It's too small, as shown on the map. The closest town, you would say, that would be closest and did have a map would be... didn't have that Google Doc up because I didn't expect you to go looking for a library, so again, give me a second. The closest one would be Glasbryn, Glazbryn, known to anyone who speaks Essian as translated to the glass tree.
Is common Essian?
Common is Leudian. Kaislos and Essian are their own thing.
Okay. So
everyone in the world will be taught Leudian as a first language, and that is the equivalent of Common.
Okay. Good to know.
So in Common, that will just be Glasbrin.
Okay.
If your character is from Atisha, you can add Essian to your languages list now if you want to. I will just say you can do that. Lots of stuff that comes from creating a homebrew world that only ever comes up in game, and I think about it and I go, should have said that beforehand, but there's a lot of it.
No, but I appreciate it. I always feel like Common is such a weird concept, and it's good to have someone actually like takes that and like solidify it within the world. Yeah,
so everyone will know Leudian, and depending on whether you're Kaislosian, Essian, you will also know those two.
Okay.
We are starting in Atisha, so you will probably all know Essian unless you moved here from Leudia or Kaislos.
Okay.
So as this is going on and you make out this map, Mama just shares like a few not too interesting stories to most of you. They are mostly farming stories, and occasionally there's one or two thrown in where some upstarts have come into the village and tried to like cause problems, but she's just come in, kicked the shit out of them, and they've left. Which is probably like the most interesting one you hear all night. The rest of them is like, and then Gaz chased off this huge rat. Sort of level of like interesting stuff that happens around here. So you probably after kind of like a few hours of these not so interesting stories, one or two interesting ones, you probably realize that the five of you are going to be the most interesting story to come out of this village for quite a long time. And you've not done much.
Tack is like full attention, like focused on these stories though.
Yep.
Like 100% involved in like listening and trying to understand them. And laughs at almost all of the punchlines that they understand.
It was just like, I don't like this. I gotta get back to the city. I gotta blend in again. I don't like this.
Baby.
People are looking at me. I am perceived.
Don't perceive me. Baby is very into the one about Mama fighting off people and is giving her the up and down, being like, I wonder if I could spar with her. Just fight right now. I need practice.
She kind of sees you, like, as she does this story, she sees you kind of like, not eyeing her up, but kind of like seeing with, like, thinking in your mind, yeah, I think we should fight. And she kind of picks up on that, and she goes, you kind of...
That would be rude. You're giving us such hospitality.
No, I think it would be fun.
Really?
Fight.
I could always... I'm always looking to spar. I'm always looking to get better. So, do you have more room?
No, let's do this in the village square. Come on, let's give people a show.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is just like the war games back home. This is going to be great. He puts his weapons down and says, "So just a fist fight?
Do you want fists or do you want weapons?"
Oh, I mean, I don't want to hurt you with the tenderizer. It hurts.
You're a coward?
Okay.
Can take that, baby.
Let's go. He picks up his Morning Star, which it's just a big meat tenderizer.
Vito, meanwhile, is like surreptitiously trying to like place bets with the other two, and like He's like, my money's on Mama.
She as you pick up your Morning Star, she like very approvingly nods at you.
I've got a silver on Mama.
Walks over to a sort of huge like wardrobe / closet, opens it, and there's a huge great club inside it. She just reaches out, picks it up, kind of slings it over her shoulder with no real effort, and just goes, come on, this is going to be good.
Korak looks at her approvingly and goes, okay, let's go. He gets his pot lid, too, that's sitting on top of the pot of rice, and dons it.
So she leads you out to what is these square, like, think of like a cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. Like, as it goes around in a circle, she leads you basically what is out to the center, like, looks around for a little bit, draws 2 lines in the dirt with her feet, like 10 foot apart, and just goes, all right, come on, stand on the other one. We'll settle this like real duelists, eh?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. He looks.
So you will also notice she has
jovial.
not picked up any armor.
Oh, okay.
Is anyone else putting money on this? Vito looks like uncharacteristically joyous.
Vito, you will notice that like a lot of like people have started to like, as they've heard like the heavy footsteps of Mama walking out with her great club, you will have seen people are starting to come out of their houses and like look around and like form almost like in a ring very like far out, but they are all talking and like, oh, Mama's found someone to fight.
Oh, this village sleeps well at night.
So she's like goes to the 2 lines in the sand, steps behind one, waits for you to like step behind the other one.
Torak takes his position.
And I need you to roll initiative, please.
Excellent. Good. Yes. +0 to initiative. So it's going to be a 12.
Oh, let me just... More Google Docs.
And this is where it's the end of baby's life. He gets slain by Mama here in the village, right at the beginning.
Mama just killed the man.
Yeah, a baby.
Earl's like, I know he's part of our like holy entourage, but I'm really hoping Mama wins.
The Goliath, as baby, is always looking for opportunities to better himself. And what better way to engage in a duel in the town square where he found out his destiny?
I mean, yeah, that works.
Love it.
He's got to show all of you that he really is going to protect you. This is the protector of this village. He has to prove himself.
Baby.
I'll heal you after.
So she steps up, and you said 12, right?
12.
Initiative. So as you step behind the lines, get ready. Your eyes meet, and Mama just immediately comes up and just takes one swing at you.
Okay.
With the great club.
Mama's gonna knock you out. I said knock you out.
That is a 14 to hit.
That is not enough. Got that 18 AC, baby.
So you, as she swings, like with the great club, you can see, okay, she's not like very clearly not too well trained in like more traditional fighting styles. So you swing, so she swings and you either like, you kind of parry it off with the, with your pot lid. And she goes, oh, this is going to be good. She reaches onto her belt and puts what looks like a small carving of an animal on the ground before kind of grinning at you and stepping back 5 feet, back to behind the line again. You can take an attack of opportunity if you wish to.
Yeah, he's absolutely going to do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a 19, which for me is a critical because I am a champion.
Nice, roll damage.
All right, with the tenderizer, so that's going to be 2d8 plus 2. So that's going to be 11 damage.
Nice. So as she steps back, grinning at you, you kind of take the tenderizer and just smack her across the chest. She stumbles back and again has this huge grin on her face. It's your turn.
Baby has a huge grin on his face too. He's reveling in this moment, and he doesn't know what that little thing is on the ground. That's going to be a 20, nat 20.
Holy shit. Yeah, that definitely hits.
Right. 2d8, that's a 7. That's a 3, so that's going to be 10 plus 2, 12.
Nice. As you step forward, both of you kind of just like grinning. She's definitely like, yes, come on, hit me, come on. So as you again smack her around the chest, she just
reveling in battle.
She's. Are you stepping back or are you staying put? Like,
no, I'm gonna
in her grill.
I'm just up in her grill, just
Excellent.
pressing the attack.
So comes around to her again, and you see, as you're kind of like up and close in her face, you can kind of see her eye sort of goes, and the small idol or like figure on the floor begins to glow a little bit, and she's also gonna attack you again. That's another 20. There's so many fucking crits going on.
My god, this is like an intense battle.
Yes.
So yeah,
I'm gonna. Maybe it's a little weirded out by this, but he's like, okay, let's go. But he might have a reaction ready.
Yeah.
Depending.
So take 22 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, he's definitely going to use his reaction for Stone's Endurance to reduce damage dealt by 1d12 plus 3.
Yep.
You can do that once a short rest. Reduce damage by 14. So I take, you said it was 22 total?
22 total, yep.
So that's 8 damage then.
See, she is into it at this point, and you can guess she's definitely enjoying this a bit more, but this is probably some sort of like power or ability that she has, maybe. And it's your turn.
Excellent. Gonna go for an attack. Wouldn't you know it? You know, a 7 is not gonna hit.
What's the total?
Oh, a 7.
Oh, yeah, no.
3 plus 4.
As you kind of swing this time, Mama's gotten a little more like wise to how you fight, and just holds the great club up, kind of like horizontally, and just blocks the attack fairly effortlessly. Just shoves it back over her shoulder again.
I'm going to use my bonus action because she's put her shield up, or she's put her great club up, and I miss. I'm going to try and do a shield shove.
Nice.
So when I take the attack action, I can use a bonus action to try and shove the creature within 5 feet.
Yeah, go ahead. That is a contested strength athletics, right?
I think so. So athletics roll is going to be a 17.
17? That's a 4. Are you pushing her away or are you pushing her prone?
I'd like to push her prone.
Yep. So as she blocks and like holds her great club up to block, you kind of take the opportunity and full force sort of like shoulder check her as she does, and she just falls over on her back.
I feel like the crowd is just like, ooh.
Yeah, but you hear
oh.
I feel like this is going to anger her, and that's what baby wants. I want to fight.
Anything else, or is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Yep. Then she's going to stay there for like a second or two and just go and stand up and go again. I don't throw my dice off the desk. That would help. Does not hit. She, again, goes to swing at you, but you just place with the shield.
She's still prone on my turn?
She got up.
Okay.
Your turn.
All right. I'm going to go for an attack.
Yep.
Wouldn't you know it? That's going to be a 16 to hit.
16 hits.
All right. That's going to be 7 damage with the tenderizer.
Yep. So 7 bludgeoning damage. As you hit her this time, like you put a fair bit of force behind this, like this attack, knowing you've cut because you're kind of both sussing each other out. You've kind of got into each other's flow a little bit, but as you hit her this time, she kind of rallies against it a little more, and you feel it probably didn't hurt her as much as it should have done.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and push her with the shield again. Then.
Yep. Go
That's
ahead.
a bonus action. Athletics is going to be a 14 that time.
That's a 20 total. So as you, like, again, go to try to get that momentum off of her, as you kind of come in with a strike, she just like almost smacks you aside and just goes, "Not again." And this time, as you kind of go off that way, as she slaps you aside, she's not even going to come in with a great club. She's just going to punch you.
Hey, she can certainly try.
19.
That'll do it.
So it doesn't do much damage, but she comes in with this, like, you lose your balance, she goes, and just comes in with a gut check. You take 3 bludgeoning damage.
Uh-huh. Okay. So that was her turn then?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to try and shove her first this time.
Yep.
That's going to be a nat 20 plus 4, so 24.
24. Yeah, she can't make that. So again, she's knocking her prone or shoving her back again.
I'm going to knock her prone, and then I'm going to go for an attack for my action.
So advantage.
Advantage. The attack. 10's not going to hit. I don't think that an 11's going to hit.
11 does not.
Right. So that's my turn.
So you're kind of a little confused by this. She has a great club. Why did she just punch me? This is weird. And you use kind of like that to, again, knock her to the floor, but that strange maneuver. Why is she doing that? Kind of stuck in your head, and she like dodges side to side a little, gets back up and just goes, "You're trying hard, I can see, but let's get a bit more real, shall we?" And she's going to do these next attacks recklessly. Because if you hadn't worked out, yes, she is a barbarian.
Excellent.
24 to hit.
You know what? That'll do it.
Yep. You take 12 bludgeoning damage as she's like in your face, kind of being all cocky, and you're still a little, why did she punch me? Why did she punch me? She just brings the great club around like a golf club, and again, just in the stomach. Boom.
Okay. So the next attacks on her have disadvantage, right? Until
they are at advantage because she did them recklessly.
Because until the end of her next turn, right?
Yes, until the start of her turn.
Okay. Torak's Baby is gonna kind of be knocked back. He's shaken by this, but he sees that there's an opening there, so he's gonna try and take it. He's gonna do the shove again.
Yep, shove first.
Is the shove gonna be at advantage as well, or no?
That's not.
Okay,
it's not an attack. It's a contested check.
That'll be 19 athletics.
19 compared to a 7. Yeah, she's still kind of from the surprise hit she got in, she thinks, and knocked again.
Okay. So that's the bonus action. Then I'm going to hit for, I'm going to knock her prone again. Yep. Just kind of trying to keep her down.
Yep.
And then going for an attack. Come on. 14.
14 hits?
14 hits. So that's going to be then a whopping 3 damage.
3 damage. As you smack her again, you see sort of as you bring down the tenderizer on her as she's on the floor, and for a second her eyes just almost look like you've knocked her out or killed her, but she almost instinctively just and shakes it off using her relentless endurance.
So
at that, as she goes, she kind of stands up and hand on your shoulder and goes, I like you. That was good.
Baby had his tenderizer up again as if he was going to hit one more time with his action surge, and he didn't.
Yeah.
I like you too, Mama. It's a good fight.
That was. I've not had a fight like that for a while.
You will surely protect this village.
Yeah. Gotta have a bit of a rest, though. Little tender.
Oh, yeah, food should be ready now. Oh, I hope it's not burning. And Torak rushes back inside Mama's house.
Yep. So you all head back in, head for what hopefully starts to be a decent night's rest, and that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Yay!
Yay! I'm going to take a long rest.
Lose any money on that?
I don't think anyone bet, yeah.
I guess I lost. Mama didn't.
Roll me a deception check quickly.
Oh, okay. 18 plus 5, so 23.
18 plus, so 23. You kind of found a little side, one of the locals who was like, oh, Mama's going to beat the shit out of this guy. Yeah. And you were kind of you were like, oh, you want to bet? Come on. Yeah, come on, let's see. And you got 2 silver out of that.
Oh, nice. Paid for my food the other night.
Yep. So, thank you to my players. Well, I guess we don't need to see where you can find you because it's already on the screen. I don't know where I'm pointing to again, so I'm just going to do that for a bit. But if you want to sound off as shout yourselves out.
Let's go clockwise shout-outs.
Yeah.
It starts with Miranda.
Oh, okay. You can find me at Potato Farm on Twitter and itch.io, where I dabble in game development.
You can find me at _Squid Toaster or on the Legends of Lanamora podcast at Lanamora Pod or wherever you find your podcasts. Spotify, iTunes, whatever they put it on now. Android things.
You can find me at Squishy Night on Twitter, and 3 of us are on City and Snow.
Yeah.
You can find me at _Nova Gamer and on the Legends of Lanamora podcast and other stuff.
You can find me at Layne the Order on Twitter as I slowly reduce the value of the website by just tweeting. I'm also at Star Happy Studio. We're not doing too much yet, but hopefully getting stuff up in the future. And you're also going to see me as a player on City and Snow, but this is where I'm most used to. I'm most used to being behind the GM screen. And you'll also see me coming up in the Monster of the Week podcast hosted by Novi called Mountainsides.
A lot of cool stuff coming up. Super excited.
Cool stuff. All right, with that, let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll see Lasers and Feelings in about 10 minutes.
Thank you for tuning in. See you on the VOD. And remember, this is going to be a long-running game.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night, y'all.